Y'all know how this goes. Go woke, go broke. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Target missing their quarterly sales goals, their projections because of the backlash, the boycotts, people refusing to go to the stores and shop. Now, what happened over the past few months, or really within 1 month of the year, that could have caused this backlash? It could have caused this dramatic dip in sales. It was the Pride Month stuff, all the LGBT stuff for children. Now, I'm going to show you an article right here from New York Times, and I'm not really going to get into the article too much. I'm going to show you the headline. This is an example of gaslighting. They'll tell you that a thing happened for one reason, but it's not really that. Or they're giving you half of the story to downplay it. You see what the headline says. Target sales hit by Pride Month merchandise backlash. And the subhead says the retailer's quarterly sales fell in part because of boycotts over Pride-themed displays, and it cut its forecast for the full year. Now, was it Pride-themed displays? Was it just the colors and the Celebrate Pride Month? Was it just this, the visual of it on its face? Or was it the fact that you had, first of all, Pride items for children, and the Pride items for children had technology in it to aid in a child so-called transitioning? Chest binders and one-piece bikinis with areas to tuck. And I'm not going to get into no detail, but y'all know what I'm talking about. That right there was the problem. Now, I think I speak for the majority of Americans. If you want to be gay as an adult, that's your business. Not my business, not my lifestyle. I'm not into that. But if you're into it, you're a consenting adult, y'all go ahead and knock yourself out. But I got a problem when you have the kids involved. And not only do you have Pride-themed things for kids, again, it's a technology for children to transition. Look, I mean, hey, if a kid wants to wear a rainbow shirt, I mean, that's not really that big of a deal. Do I agree with it? No, but is it that big of a deal? I don't really think so. However, why are we pushing the transgender ideology on the children? Okay, we saw Dwayne Wade's boy, Zion, become Zaya at 12 years old. 12 years old. I mean, come on. This is ridiculous. Once you get to be 18, do what you want to do. You want to identify as a New York City pigeon that gets on the subway to ride around town rather than flying? Knock yourself out. You want to identify as a pair of worn down sandals in the third world countries? Knock yourself out. You want to identify as whatever you want. A cloud in the sky, a rain molecule, lava in the volcano. You're an adult, go ahead. You're 5 years old though. Maybe, just maybe, the parents should say, you can't be a turtle or a squirrel. We're not going to send you to the vet to get surgery to make that happen. Just maybe. And if you are a corporation pushing for that kind of behavior, then you should get a boycott. You deserve a boycott. Now, before I go any further into it, let's go ahead and check out a news clip from, what's this, CNBC? I will link to this, of course, and the article I just popped up on the screen in the description box below. If you're on IG, visit the link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Market earnings just crossing the tape. Courtney Reagan is here with the numbers. Court.
Yeah, Melissa, so let's get through this. There's a lot here. Target second quarter earnings coming in at $1.80 per share. That's 41 cents above consensus. But the profit was not driven by sales. Revenue at $24.77 billion, below $25.16 billion estimated. Also slashing full year earnings guidance. This even after this quarter's huge beat. So it's now expecting between $7 and $8. That's down from $7.75 to $8.75. It's also bringing down its sales expectations to mid-single-digit declines rather than low single-digit decline to low single-digit increase. Target's comparable sales down 5.4%. That is well below estimates for a 3.7% drop. Also the first decrease since 2016.
The first decrease since 2016. Some are going to say, well, it's a normal ebb and flow of business. It's up and down, all this, that, and the third. No, no, no. The first drop like that since 2016. And there was probably another event that happened back then. But we know what happened right now. It was the Pride stuff for children. That's what happened.
The retailer says discretionary categories again weak, while food, beverage, essentials, beauty, those frequency categories, those were stronger. Digital sales down 10.5%. That's the third straight quarter of declines and the worst performance since Target has been giving this number. Inventory fell 17% and lower markdowns did help to lift gross margins. Operating margins also better than expected. But at 4.8%, that's about half of the level where it was 2 years ago at 9.8%. On a call with media, Target CEO Brian Cornell pointed to macro pressures, including inflation, for tempering sales.
So that's part of it as well. Your man Joe Biden and other Democrats, other leftists, apologists will say, oh, well, inflation isn't really that bad. We're getting beyond it. We're raising the interest rates and things are trying to normalize. Obviously not. The inflation is a big part of it as well. If your paycheck doesn't go as far as it has in the past, you have less discretionary income and really less income to spend on your essentials. They said the essentials are stronger, but still, you're going to have less income to spend on all that stuff. So that will also decrease your sales. But when you have a particular social message that the general audience does not agree with, that's going to plummet your sales as well.
But also, quote, negative guest reaction to our Pride collection. He also continued to say negative reaction to our Pride assortment and added, after adjusting mid-quarter to address safety concerns, the business recovered.
So let's pause right here. This is Target CEO Brian Cornell. They acknowledge, he's put out a statement that says they saw a negative reaction to our Pride assortment, which is what I was talking about earlier in the video, obviously. And then he says, after adjusting mid-quarter to address safety concerns, the business recovered steadily in July. So they are trying to say that they were getting threats and harassment over the Pride displays. So they had to remove some of the displays and then shift some things from right in the front to other parts of the store. And they said that was mostly in the South, giving that type of excuse, right? But it wasn't really about safety concerns as much as it was about we're starting to lose money because this has become a problem. This has become an issue, and we got to figure out a way to stop hemorrhaging these dollars.
Steadily in July. I asked Cornell to clarify that the response by some consumers to the Pride merchandise was material enough that it impacted sales. But then after Target removed some of the merchandise or moved it in some stores, the trends changed. He said, quote, you describe it very accurately.
So exactly what I just said, she was just saying what I was saying to clarify, to get to the real thing, because they're talking about, it's about safety of the people in the store, the employees and the customers because of some of the threats. But then she was like, well, let's be clear. So there was a problem with the Pride merch. You guys fixed the problem and then sales recovered. You got it. Exactly.
We only took actions in the month of June. We wanted to make sure we're focused on the safety of our teams and the safety of our guests. Once we took those actions and addressed the situation, we certainly saw things normalize.
Right.
Now, the last time Target's comp sales were negative, as I mentioned, was 6 years ago, and that does correspond to the 4 quarters that followed the retailer's stance, allowing guests to use whatever bathroom they choose for their gender identity.
Well, hold on. I almost forgot about that part. Remember that whole thing about the bathrooms? Let's rewind. I almost forgot about that part.
Normalize. Now, the last time Target's comp sales were negative, as I mentioned, was 6 years ago, and that does correspond to the 4 quarters that followed the retailer's stance, allowing guests to use whatever bathroom they choose for their.
Okay. So 6 years ago, was that 2016? Actually, 6 years ago would have been 2017, right? But I think that might have been right around the same time where they were talking about allowing the guests to do whatever they want, go to the bathroom of their choice. So yeah, people don't like that kind of stuff. I don't know why they keep doing it. I mean, they're trying to lean into a certain market, but the average person in the world, even those that identify as LGBT, do not appreciate that kind of stuff. Okay. So this is what it's saying right here. April 19th, 2016. I guess that was the last time where it dropped. Okay.
Their gender identity. Though Target did say at the time that any lost sales from those boycotts weren't material enough to report. This time, though, they're calling it out, just not quantifying it. It's just, again, seemingly caught in the middle of these culture wars in a way that did seem to impact sales.
It sure did. Everybody knows that. It's pretty clear what happened. Like I said from the jump, go woke, you go broke. But as I close, I want to say this. Shout out to the American people for letting their voices be heard. Boycotts do work. That's really one of the main things that works. We could talk about tweeting and complaining online or whatever, but if you hit corporations, if you hit governments, if you hit people in the pocket, that's really what matters at the end of the day, because without the money, now we got to make adjustments. Okay, if we're going to lose $1 billion, $500 million or whatever the actual loss was in the projected versus the actual, okay, how are we going to turn the ship around? Same thing, Budweiser. They lost 25% of their market cap after Dylan Mulvaney, so they got to get rid of him. Okay, all the woke stuff goes out the window because we want to be woke and appeal to a community, but when the backlash outweighs what we gain, it just makes no sense. We got to go the other direction. People are going to be upset who may have come on because of Dylan Mulvaney, and they may like Dylan Mulvaney. They're going to be mad, but they are so few in number that they're inconsequential. So then it becomes dollars and cents, nothing more, nothing less. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about Target posting a loss from what they projected to their actual because of the boycott over the LGBT stuff directed towards children, and having the CEO even go on TV and admit it? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. I'm proud of you guys that were able to go out there and stand up for your beliefs, boycott, put your money where your mouth is, or don't put it where you don't want it to go. If you got a problem with X, Y, and Z thing, X, Y, and Z corporation, X, Y, and Z place, do not spend your money there. This is why I don't really understand social media, people saying, oh, this place sucks and they treated me badly. Boycott. Organize a boycott. Do it on your own. Don't give them your money and complain about it. That's really how you go about doing this. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.